Going live. Going live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Comic Shop Talk Live, brought to you by Black Cat Comics in Rockin' Milpitas, your one-stop shop for all things superhero. Shop online at black-cat-comics.com. We keep you connected to the comic book community. I'm Mark.
I'm Francie.
And what a fun show we have for you today. It is the last episode of Comic Shop Talk Live. We are going to the beach. We're headed to retirement. So, going to wrap up our fun little endeavor here. You know, we got this started to somewhat give you all a chance to be here in the store during lockdown and all that good stuff. It's sort of evolved into this fun weekly hanging out session of talking comics. And, well, like all things in comics and life, all good things wrap it up at some point. And today is that day. So we're going to have some fun talking this week's comics, of course. We're going to talk some classic Black Cat moments. Going to talk some great things of comics over the last 20 years. Going to do one of those retrospective episodes. So join in with us. Feel free, post your favorite Black Cat moments in the comments there, and we'll reminisce and have a good time doing so. But I always like to start the show with Comic Shop News. Comic Shop News. So the big news is we're retiring. Maybe we mentioned that already. After 19 years, yeah. Black Cat Comics is moving on. And so we thank you with a heartfelt, sincere thank you, as you'll hear another 200 times through the episode. But wanted to give you guys a little bit of the future because, you know, like comics, nothing dies. It just sort of, what's that thing, goes to Krakoa and becomes something else and gets a new first issue with a new costume. And this is going to be a little bit like that. First of all, why don't you give them the update on Black Cat Chronicles issue 2?
Sure, yeah. So issue 2, this is issue 1. Issue 2 is done. Everything's done. Just saw the lettering. Today, we're just waiting on all of our folks that backed it to fill out the survey so I can get their pictures, their names for the thank you page, and then it's off to. It's awesome. It's beautiful. I can't wait for you guys to see it. It's amazeballs.
The art is amazing. The story is gripping. It's a really great comic. I'm really, really proud of this offering. Excited to get started on the next issue. As I always like to say, if you've somehow missed the first issue, we've still got that, because Black Cat Publishing will keep on rolling. Yes. For all of you nice folks watching this, everybody gets the newsletter, everybody that follows the Black Cat Comics entertainment media, everything Black Cat Publishing will still keep going, black-cat-publishing.com. Find Black Cat Publishing on Facebook.
I'm starting to work on the third issue.
Yes. So issue 3 is going to get going. Black Cat Publishing is totally a thing. We are totally going to keep doing our publishing thing, making new comics, shirts, keep making shirts,
bags,
and so all that good stuff. You've not seen the last of these two faces.
You're stuck with these
as much as you'd like to not see this one anymore. So just to chime that in, the Black Cat Chronicles number 2 is coming at you next month. They're going to have the curbside pickups for you right here where it will always be, and in the parking lot either way. So like I say, black-cat-publishing.com. Find Black Cat Publishing on Facebook. Like us, share us, stay connected with us. Because that's our next big endeavor, our big endeavor, I should say. Black Cat Publishing is not going anywhere. Black Cat Chronicles is not going anywhere. And Black Cat Tales will be coming at you sooner than you think.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Milton. Thanks, Marco. Thanks, Arnell. We're going to miss you guys, too. Yeah, lots of memories. Lots of memories.
Yep, good times. But like I say, Black Cat Chronicles, Black Cat Publishing, stay with us because it's going to be awesome. And then, yes, as far as here in the store, there's still lots of details being worked out, but Torpedo Comics out of Vegas in Southern California is going to be taking good care of you guys, is going to be taking good care of our store here. I didn't slave away for 19 years just so I could throw it all in the trash. I bought Milpitas's only comic book store, so I wanted to make sure there would be a comic book store when I left, one that was going to take care of this town almost as well as I did. And we found those guys. So again, keep up with the newsletter. Be on the lookout for Torpedo Comics here in Rockin' Milpitas, because we weren't going to leave you guys in a lurch, even though we're off to the beach. We've done all we can for you, and now it's somebody else will pick up the reins and roll with it. Mm-hmm. So will it be? Yes, it will be Torpedo Comics. We're taking Black Cat Comics with us, taking the sign out front with me. And the 19 Lives of Black Cat. Yes, Daniel, you are part of the Black Cat family. So I think that's most of our comic shop news update as far as Black Cat Chronicles. Yes. Will there be a comic book store in Milpitas? Yes. And will you guys be a part of it? We will be associated in a friendly, non-responsible, non-working way.
And we'll still be at shows and conventions pimping our books. So you'll see us. You'll see us once COVID's all. Hopefully, it'll be a thing of the past. Sometime soon.
Very soon. Get vaccinated. Yes, you'll see us at the shows. You'll see us here in the shop during signings and in-store events.
And Wednesday's our last day.
And yes, to wrap that up, Wednesday, September 8th. Be on the lookout for my Wednesday video. I'll probably be crying through the whole thing, so I won't be talking about comics. I'll just be going, I like Captain America, you guys. Yeah. So anyway, yes, Wednesday, September 8th. Then we're off to the beach. So that's all the news that's fit to print. On Saturday, Marco went to San Jose Con. Awesome. I'm glad it was a great show. Glad everybody had a good time. So yeah, keep on the lookout for those shows. Get out to the shows. Get out, support your shows, support your local comic book stores. That's what it's all about.
I'd like to think when it's safe for all of us to gather again, that we'll have some big Black Cat party. Because we can't do a farewell party because there's too many folks that are vulnerable. I don't want to make anybody sick or get anybody sick. So at some point, we might do a big blowout party.
Yes, when things
at Casa Azteca.
At Casa Azteca. So yeah, be on the lookout. Like I say, keep up with Black Cat Publishing, and we'll keep you guys in the loop. There will be again at some point when we can do it safely. We'll all get together, have a big blowout party, and it'll be fun.
Correct.
In the meantime, with this last little bit, again, we always want to hear from you. We want to know what you're reading, what you're looking forward to reading, what's at the top of your stack this week. And we want to know your favorite Black Cat memories. How'd you find us? What did you do here? Maybe drop a free comic book day thing. Because the Black Cat party don't stop. Hey, that's right, man. But it does stop on September 8th. Been partying for 19 years, man. I'm like Slurms McKenzie. Anybody get the Slurms McKenzie reference?
Nice.
Yeah. I'm still partying 19 years. Got just a couple more weeks left in me. So go to Black Cat Bonanza. I like that. Before I get into this week's comics, while we're still talking about the 19 years of Black Catness and all the awesome, I've got a bit of if you'll pardon me, I'm on a bit of a rant right now.
It's all you.
I want to go through some of the awesome things that have happened in the last 19 years in comics. I want to go through a little retrospective of some of the awesomeness that I've had the good fortune to pass over the counter to all of you. A lot of the awesomeness that has kept my bills being paid and kept the conversations lively, more importantly, here in the comic store. And not in any kind of particular reason in order, but this guy is Batman Hush, one of the first books I ordered. The first order I placed as a retailer was for Batman 608, the first issue of Hush. And wow, what a great launch to my comic book, to our comic book career. Still one of the best Batman series, as good a series of Batman as any that you'll hold up. One of my favorite trades, one of my favorite things to recommend for new readers, for established readers, for anybody that can see needs a copy of Hush. 608 to 619, I want to say. It's probably right in front of me, but the print's small, and I got 19 years older while I worked here.
You're correct.
As I say, one of the first books I ordered was Batman 608. I grossly under-ordered it. I doubled the order for Batman that Brian had going, and that ended up not being nearly enough. And like I say, that was a huge launch for our store. It was a huge return to comics for a lot of people. I got a lot of books to talk about, so let's keep it moving. One of the next ones was Batman Superman. Jeff Loeb did this with Jim Lee. Jeff Loeb did this. The first volumes with Ed McGuinness. He was teamed up with some of the very, very best artists in comics, particularly Michael Turner, who is, of course, since passed. Has been gone a long time. And anyway, what an excellent book this was. So much fun to read. To be honest, it's getting a little forgotten at this point, as happens in comics, because so many other great books come and go. If you haven't read this, pick it up. If you haven't read it in a long time, and like all the books I'm about to talk about, dig up these single issues. Find all the different artists that did Batman, Superman. Pick up those original issues of Hush. All that great stuff. So moving on. Blackest Night. Also one of the all-time great things of comics. Jeff Johns' run on Green Lantern is one of my favorite things. I had to emphasize that because I have a lot of favorite things, as you know. If you were in the shop back in the day, you know I tried to pawn Green Lantern off on you every single opportunity I could, because it was one of the best books in comics and is still one of the best books in comics. And Blackest Night was sort of the pinnacle of that run. Really briefly, what I said throughout that whole thing was it made Jeff Johns understands what the superhero reader wants. Each issue ended with Hal Jordan about to die in a horrible way. And you're left being like, how is he going to get out of this one? The next issue, somehow he gets out of that, and by the end of that issue, will end up in an even worse situation than he was at the end of last issue. And he did that issue after issue after issue after issue. And I was just the most fun you can have reading superhero books.
I have a confession.
Yes.
That is the only Green Lantern I've ever read.
Then I'll match that confession by saying, with all due respect to all my other favorite Green Lantern stuff, if that was the only one you ever read, then that's the only one you need to read. You're good. You're good with Green Lantern. Moving to the other side of the aisle, obviously one of my all-time favorites is Ed Brubaker's run on Captain America. Again, this book started, and I knew I would love it because I love Cap and I love the Steve Epting art and all that good stuff. But 1 issue in, 3 issues in, I knew this was going to be one of the all-time great runs. I was telling all my Marvel people, telling you crazy DC people, come on, pick up a Marvel book. You're going to love this.
No,
and the fact that, well, now it's a whole movie franchise. Now that everybody on Earth knows who the Winter Soldier is, I think I was proven right. So again, if you haven't read this original stuff, and one thing I'll point out really quickly, and as I hold the book, I know this to be true. Captain America number 10, the House of M issue, we'll get to House of M in just a minute, is not collected anywhere. So all of you who are digging up the first full appearance of Winter Soldier, which is like number 8 or whatever it is, okay, that's great. But keep in the back of your mind that the House of M issue is not collected, which makes it rare and hard to find, and it's extremely cool. One of my favorite issues of Captain America ever. So pick up the original issues, and if you're only going to get the trade, find yourself a number 10 because it's not in the trade. You guys mean that? That's a good Black Cat memory. Hey, new 52.
You want to share that for the YouTubers?
Oops, what was that?
The comment.
It's one of the Black Cat memories was when we had to alert all of the subscribers.
Warning.
Hey, all of your DC books are ending. Hey, all of your DC books are ending. Hey, the new 52 is going to be a thing. Update your list. And parentheses, I don't have any of them here. All of the first volumes of New 52 run would make this list that I'm going through. Yeah, all of them. Oh, good. Aquaman, Catwoman, all of them.
Animal Man, Swamp Thing, Batman Detective.
And they did like Haunted Tank and stuff that they busted out that nobody even remembered. And
Winnick's Catwoman, amazing. Hi, Julie.
yes, you will get to see us online.
Thank you, Julie.
When we retire, we're still going to keep going with some comics. Okay, let me finish my little rant here. Daredevil. This is the Brubaker verse. This is Brubaker Volume 1 because I'm sold out of all the Bendis ones. One thing I say all the freaking time, and you're probably sick of hearing it if you watch my Wednesday videos, is that Daredevil is one of the best books in comics, one of the most consistent and best books in comics.
Hi, Bart.
Shoot, what's his name?
No,
the Joe Quesada. Joe Quesada hired Kevin Smith to write Daredevil, and that shifted all of comics from the artist focused narration of the 90s into story focused comics. And from that moment, Daredevil has been the best book in comics. When Kevin Smith to Brian Michael Bendis did it forever. Then Brubaker took it over. Then Mark Waid, and then Charles Soule. Marvel's had their top talent on this book for as long as I can remember. So if you don't read Daredevil, you've been missing out for over 19 years. Pick yourself up a whole slew of trade paperbacks. And learn yourself some Daredevil, because like I say, throughout the 19 years that I've been here, Daredevil is the most consistent title that I've sold in all of my years as a retailer.
Bendis's run with Maleev is one of my all-time favorites.
Yes, the Bendis Maleev team up on anything is one of my favorites. Brief story.
Uh-oh.
None of my stories are brief.
Tangent. Here it comes.
One of the best all-time scenes in comics is when Frank Castle gets himself arrested, turns himself into the police because Matt Murdock has been arrested for being Daredevil. Matt Murdock has been arrested for vigilantism and all that kind of thing. So he's in prison. His non-friend, Frank Castle, knows that Matt might have a little hard time being in prison. So Frank turns himself in so he can get Matt's back. That's the setup. So then prison riot breaks out, and Matt thinks to himself, "Oh no, Frank's going to be killing everybody. I gotta find Frank and keep him from killing everybody in this prison." So he's running all over the prison trying to find Frank in the middle of all this chaos, which is great visuals in a comic, by the way. So when he finally finds Frank, and you, the reader, are like, you're feeling the frantic, and you're waiting for that double splash page that you're inevitably going to see of Frank Castle just slaying everybody in this prison. When they get there, Frank's actually sitting in his prison cell reading a book, and he looks up at Matt and says, "Oh, I was wondering when you'd get here."
Nice.
Now, I don't know about you. I've never seen Frank Castle reading a book. The idea that there's this huge prison riot and Frank's just kind of casually catching up on some light reading. Awesome storytelling in an awesome book.
Oh,
so
great.
Anyway, pick up Daredevil. Last couple of things. As I mentioned earlier, House of M is an example of the awesome Brian Michael Bendis series of events that went on for years and years that I loved so much. As a retailer, there was a long time where I could tell people, you have two choices in reading Marvel. Read your core titles, read the titles that you like, or just read the event books. The event books are the spine of Marvel continuity. So if you only read the event books, you're getting the story. And you got great stories. You got House of M, Civil War, Secret Invasion, Civil War 2, on and on and on. All that Annihilation stuff that was going on. Marvel was just brilliant with the events through the 2000s. All of comics has waned away from that a little bit. The events are kind of more now mini-series than they are like line-wide universal things. But when they were doing line-wide universal things, Bendis was just brilliant with it. House of M was so great. All of these books that I'm talking about had all of us talking about comics, talking about the stories and the characters and what was going to happen to our favorite characters. And that's what this is all about. And that made it really fun. Last but not least was Action Comics number 1000. This one was a little personal to me. I'm just really stoked that I lived long enough. If you watched Kazi's Classics a couple weeks ago, I talked about Action Comics 600. When Action Comics 600 came out, I was like, wow, What if there was an Action Comics 1000? And that was just unheard of because 600 was a crazier number than any other comic had. The idea that a comic could make it to 1000 just seemed impossible to my little brain. And not only did they make it to 1000, but I got to sell it out of my own comic shop. Super great. So anyway, that's a brief list of some of the very, very best. Obviously, we could talk about Walking Dead. We could talk about so many things that have come along in the last 19 years that I've had the good fortune of taking your $1.99 through $2.99 or $3.99 or $4.99 or $5.99 or $6.99 for. That's my list. What's yours?
That's awesome. I love that little trip down memory lane there.
That's quite a stash.
We've been through quite a bit as far as the comic industry goes. New writers and artists and creative teams, publishers have come and gone, new stores have popped up and closed down. There's been a lot of history in these last 19 years. We've seen generations of customers grow up, get married, have their own kids that they bring in. So we've seen multiple generations come in the store. We've had all kinds of amazing staff members over the years. Made some lifelong friends. And good times.
It's really what it's all about, is those lifelong friends. Made a lot of them with you guys. And I say, as I said with the stack, hanging out, talking about the characters and the stories and the art. That's what we're here for. And that's what's it's made all this really great.
Yes, agreed.
Marcus,
thank you, David.
Yes, thank you, David. Marcus says, crazy how they went from bankruptcy to killing it and doing so much better. That's really true. That's really true. People don't really remember that before the Disney takeover, Marvel was bankrupt. You could buy Marvel stocks for like 3 cents. I really, really, really thought at that time that Warner Brothers was going to buy it, and that they were going to create one massive universe. And to be honest, I sort of hoped they would do that. But as it worked out, I'm really, really glad that the Disney Marvel thing went through. But yeah, that's super true. Like I say, the stack of comics we could talk about. Oh, just all the great things, all the great conventions. Boy, we've been to Comic-Con. We've been to San Diego Comic-Con every year that we've been here.
It's New York Comic-Con once, Chicago
New
Comic-Con.
York Comic-Con,
Almost killed you.
Emerald City. Yes, Chicago. What's your deal, Chicago? Always trying to kill me.
Don't forget the Halloween parties.
Oh, those are my favorites. The swap meets, movie nights. Okay, it's hard to say it's my favorite. I love the Halloween parties. But just as in principle, I love getting to say Rocky Milpitas pre-Comic-Con Comic-Con. Hey, it's the Black Hat Comics Rocky Milpitas pre-Comic-Con Comic-Con. Are you attending the Black Hat Comics Rocky Milpitas pre-Comic-Con Comic-Con this week?
Twister.
It's the Black Hat Comics Rocky Milpitas pre-Comic-Con Comic-Con. It's just always fun to say. And it was fun to pitch. It was fun to do this week-long thing. Movie night was great. All those things. In-store events were always tons of fun. And
free comic book days.
Our crazy free comic book days. I would have to admit, some of you didn't get my best on Free Comic Book Day. I was a little overwhelmed many a Free Comic Day. But despite the look on my face, I was having a great time. People will always come up to me, like, are you okay, man? I'm like, yes, everything's fine.
Great.
Everything's fine. Stop talking.
I think we should continue the Halloween writing contest. We could still do. Last year we had to do it through Zoom. We could do it through Zoom still.
Yeah, that would be fun.
A writers contest. Everybody gets together and shares their stories. That would be amazing.
That would be amazing. And that's totally something we could do as Black Cat Publishing. Yeah. Especially now, because Black Cat Publishing is kind of all about the scary stuff. So
that reminds me, I've always had the desire in the back of my head to do a Black Cat Anthology. A lot of you guys, customers over the years, have written amazing Black Cat stories for our Halloween party. So I'd love to aggregate all of those and have a Black Cat Anthology where all the stories are about Black cats. Who's with me? You guys want to do that? You want to write a little something, get published? We'll do it under Black Cat Publishing.
Sounds awesome.
Sound like fun?
Yes, it does.
Let's do it.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Let's do it. I always thought it would be neat. Not always. We haven't been Black Cat Publishing always. I'd like to do a silent story. I'd like to do a story where you just follow the cat, or some such. But you know, an artist can create a great story without the words.
You're talking about comic. I'm talking about a book.
Ooh, even better. A book. There you go. I like books.
Words.
Graphicless novels, as I like to call them. Hey, this book has no pictures.
We could do like one picture to start each story. That would be fun.
Robert says, wow, 19 years. I'm barely starting with a small comic shop I barely opened 2 months ago.
Oh, Robert, congrats.
Congratulations, Robert.
It's the best job you'll ever have.
That's exactly right. Welcome to the best industry in the world.
Yes.
Let's see. Okay, I'll tell you the best piece of advice, Robert, that I was ever given as a comic retailer.
Get ready, take notes.
When you see somebody for the first time, let that person do whatever they're going to do. Never hassle somebody about, hey, don't read or whatever it is. Let people experience your store for the first time, however they're going to experience it. And then the next time you see them, you can explain the rules and the protocols of your shop. It might not mean a whole lot right now, but as time goes on, that statement will mean a lot to you, as it meant to me.
And my piece of advice, not like you asked for it, but I'm going to share it anyway, is that do it your own way. Ignore the naysayers. If you feel in your gut you want to go right and everyone's saying go left, you go right, Robert. You go right. And when you do that, more opportunities come your way. So listen to your inner gut, think outside of the box, and don't do it the same way that everybody else does it. Go with what you want to do and what you feel is right.
That's 200% true. Do it your way, like Burger King. Don't let anybody tell you how it is, because they're all wrong. Even when they're right, it's just as likely they're going to be wrong. So
I have to share.
Do it your way.
Now I have to share my story about my dad. So when we first bought the store, we were probably less than 2 months in, and my dad walks around. So my dad's a banker. He's like pretty straight laced and very analytical, very logical kind of guy. And he walked around with this really disgusting look on his face. And he said to me, people buy this crap? I'm like, oh, heart wrench, pulled it out. I'm like, yeah, Dad, they do. 19 years later, I can attest to many, many comics being sold.
Almost 1 million, maybe over 1 million.
1 million comics to how many people do you think?
Oh, I couldn't do the math. I couldn't possibly. Oh, yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Tens of thousands.
Okay, so about 990 Wednesdays is about 990,000 bags and boards. So so about 1,000 Wednesdays and about 1 million comics. That part I know.
Reading through the comments.
Yeah. Yeah, Robert, get to know your people. Getting to know the people in my store is what made it great. There's a lot of work, but the people make it fun. It's a great gig.
That's right.
And Marco's totally right. Marco's experience is what I'm talking about. You go into a store for the first time and the guy's following you around because he thinks you're going to steal something, or, you know, you're looking at the third comic and, hey, this isn't a library, and you're not going to go back to that place. What my specific story is that those people become some of your best customers. The person you see the first time, they're walking all around, and maybe you think they're, I don't know, whatever you think. Just let them do their thing. Readers, just let them do their thing. That person is going to turn into one of your best customers and maybe one of your best friends.
So, Kazi, I think we're going to skip the new this week stuff. I want to keep going with what is it that you have taken away after these 19 years?
Oh, Lordy Lord, that's a huge question. Let me just let my brain flow for a minute. Mm-hmm. I've learned so many things about comics and about people, about art, about so many things. Let me sum up just a couple of them. as advice to comic book people. I got into this when she bought this store and against my better judgment.
All my fault.
You don't get into this business unless you know comics, love comics, have a collection. People don't start comic book stores unless they think they know something about comics. That's a given, right? So I was under the impression that I knew something about comics. I have dozens and dozens and dozens of long boxes of this stuff. It's been my big, huge passion all my life. So I thought I knew something. Then I was a retailer for about 5 minutes, and I realized I don't know nothing. I realized that whatever you know and whatever you think you know, and I'm not insulting you people, I'm not. I'm trying to inspire and motivate you. Whatever you think you know is 10% of comics. If you know every freaking thing there is to know about all the freaking stuff that you love all this stuff and you know everything about everything. No, you don't. You know 10%. There's whole universes of stuff about comics you don't know. What I came to understand is that I'm a Marvel guy. I love comics. I love all kinds of comics. But what I know is Marvel. And if all you know is Marvel, even if you and Stan Lee are genetically linked, you don't know anything about it, all kinds of things. And nobody can know everything. And so I encourage everybody to expand your mind just a little bit. If you are one of these people that says 70s comics are the best comics ever, and I only read 70s comics because that's the best and everything else sucks, you're wrong. And you're missing out because if you only read 70s comics, you don't know about Liam Sharp. You don't know about any of the books that I went through a minute ago. And you don't know Ed Brubaker. You don't know Steve Epting. Therefore, you don't know comics. If you only read the modern stuff and you say, that's all my dad's comics, that stuff sucks, then you don't know the difference between Sal Buscema and John Buscema. And you really need to know the difference between Sal Buscema and John Buscema.
So back to my question, what have you, not from a perspective of a retailer?
Well, but that's part of my takeaway as a fan too, is that don't limit yourself. Mm-hmm. Comics are great. And you got to keep an eye out just for anything. Be ready for anything in comics because you don't know what you're going to love next.
What I learned, which was a surprise to me, and I'm still learning as we wind down the last few days here, is how important comics really are to each person that walks into the store. It's not about picking up some funnies and escaping for 15 minutes. For some people, this is a lifeline. This is an escape from a reality that sucks for them. Some people going through cancer treatment, some people going through horrible divorces, some people going through abuse at home. Whatever the situation is, comics in one way or another has saved them. And to know and realize that, we just peddle comics. No, we peddle lifelines to people. And that's been one of the biggest aha moments over the last 19 years is how important it is that we are here to help distribute, these funnies, but also these inspirational, motivational tales of what happens when Cap gets down, he picks himself back up. What happens when someone gets hit by the Hulk? Well, they can't hit back, but not with the Hulk. But it's, you find these stories that resonate with you, whether it's horror, mystery, superhero, all kinds of things. And you learn something about yourself. You get inspired to maybe be a little bit better or to try something different or to expand your mind and open up your horizons. And so what I've learned over the years is that comics can touch you at a very, very deep level, almost on a spiritual level.
Super true. Super true.
And I'm very fortunate and blessed to be able to see that and to see those transitions in customers from being sad, depressed, lost to being happy and joyous and powerful and motivated. So we've seen all of it, and it's been such a treat and such a gift to be able to witness their journeys.
Yep, Marco says that's why Peter Parker Spider-Man is so relatable. That's super true.
Yeah, getting through the pandemic, having comics through the pandemic. Yeah.
which is part of why we started this show, just to reach out, just to
check in.
Because one of the things that I learned along that point is, when people are in the shop, nothing out there matters, especially these days. Everybody, it's so easy to argue with people about just about anything. It's so easy to find disagreement.
Batman's better than Superman.
So easy to find people that are wrong and people that don't understand reality these days. And so, but here in the shop, even to that point, all of that can get set aside. And yeah, we can argue Marvel DC, and we can argue, some people don't like Herb Trimpe art. I love me some Herb Trimpe art. And what I'm saying is, in a comic shop, everybody's your buddy. Everybody's your friend. You go to a baseball game, and not everybody at the baseball game is your friend. You go to a concert, not everybody at the concert's your friend. But you go to a convention, everybody at the convention's your friend. You go to the shop, everybody at the shop is your friend. And that's one of my big takeaways from all this. And I think that's really cool. And kudos to you guys. It's something I've said for a long time, that we go to San Diego, there's 150,000 people a day. 500,000 people will have attended Comic-Con. And in all my years, there was like the one fight. The one guy stabbed somebody with a pencil in Hall H.
Temperatures are flaring. Everyone's tired. It's hot, but everyone's still so nice and courteous.
Yeah, comic people are good people. Yeah. I guess that's the answer. I'll go with that as my long-winded answer. Comic book people are good people, and that's been a huge part of what has kept me going for 19 years. Because it's a job like any other job. It's a lot of work like a lot of jobs. But what keeps you going is the cool people that you're doing it for. And you guys have been the best as comic book people are. So yeah, that's kind of my takeaway. Yeah, I guess I could go on and on. And
it's been a blast.
Yeah. Don't know how much more to say.
We're gonna miss it.
We're gonna miss it. We're gonna miss you guys. We're gonna miss seeing everybody every week. Miss having these chats.
Wednesday, we're gonna be just a puddle, not like tears. We're just gonna be puddles on Wednesday. It's gonna be hard.
But I also like to chime in. We're not going out of business. We're not getting closed. We're not having to sell. Torpedo is not kicking me out or taking me over. This is all amicable and fun and exciting, and it's good news. Our heartstrings are getting tugged, but I want to triple emphasize that this is a choice, a positive, happy thing that we're doing, and not in any way, shape, or form a negative, sad, depressing thing. Another thing I'd like to say really quick, if you don't mind another tangent, keep reading comics. If you're a customer, if you're my customer, don't quit because I'm leaving. People have told me in the last week, well, I can't imagine buying comics from anybody but you, so I'm going to stop.
That's very sweet.
I appreciate that. I really do. I really appreciate that I've fostered that kind of loyalty, that I have created a relationship with people, all those kind of things. But if you've ever listened to me talk for 2 minutes, and you probably have many times, I want you to enjoy comics. I'm here to help you enjoy comics. I'm not here to take your money. I've never been here to take your money. I've been here to help you enjoy a hobby, help you have more fun in your life. So for God's sake, if Torpedo is not your local store, I understand that. I always say support your local comic shop first. But I want you to support Torpedo because I put some work into finding somebody that was going to take good care of you. I want you to support your local comic shop. I want you to keep enjoying your passion. Just because I'm retiring doesn't mean you need to get out. If you are feeling loyalty to me, feel that loyalty to Stan the Man and keep enjoying your comics.
That's right.
I guess that's my last pitch for the day. Our Torpedo, yes, they are awesome. They've got tons.
Look them up.
Yep. Go to torpedocomics.com.
Great, David.
Excellent.
We're
And
gonna keep reading comics. We're
yeah,
not stopping.
I'm keeping my sub here. He'll ship my books
I
down to
gotta
Monterey.
finish my Batman Catwoman Tom King run.
I
gotta finish Department of Truth. There's a lot of stuff out there.
Been reading
Nice House on the Lake.
every issue of Avengers and Captain America since 1977. Not going to stop now. So anyway, we've got one more day. Wednesday, September 8th. And then we're peace out. Everybody that's got their appointments for the 8th, we'll see you then. Be on the lookout in the newsletter and all that for future updates. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. It's been fun.
Bye, guys.